What's up, everybody? Austin here from Bro Epic.
Bro Epic. And Joey. How's it going, everyone?
So, today's topic, multiverse.
Multiverse. There are multiple ways of thinking about the multiverse.
There's lots of things that you can ponder about with it, too.
For sure. I mean, it's been done in multiple films and TV shows as far as time travel goes and multiverse type things. Probably the most popular nowadays would be Marvel.
Yeah.
Multiverse, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man movies. You have other examples, Back to the Future, where they don't have a multiverse, but they have time travel.
Yeah, you could theoretically have in one sort
of no, they
universe.
do have a multiverse, actually, because when Doc's talking about, he said that, they split off into a different alternate timeline.
You're right.
They do
have a multiverse. Let's talk about one of our topics. Where do black holes go? Like, everybody knows, black hole sucks things in, and it's a singularity.
Right, and they do deteriorate, as far as I know.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, they deteriorate over time. They're not infinite.
No, but, like, where do they go? Like, you're getting all of this matter.
Where does the matter go?
Into it. Like, it has to go somewhere. And, like, something that's been theorized is white holes, which is the exact opposite of a black hole. It could be feeding into an entirely new universe.
That's an
Everything that comes from ours gets sucked into a black hole and feeds into a new universe.
Right, within the black hole.
Yes.
Right, that's an interesting thought. Well, when you said white hole, it kind of made me think of, like, what would the exact opposite of a black hole be? Because a black hole is infinite density, right? Infinite mass.
Yes.
In a tiny point. So a white hole would be infinitely spread out mass.
Much like our universe.
Right.
Where you can't pinpoint exactly where the edge is because it's
infinite. There's atoms.
There is an end to our universe that we theorize, but it's so far away that basically it doesn't exist. The end is nowhere in sight. Nobody is ever going to be able to reach it or do anything with it. So a white hole could theoretically be the exact opposite of a black hole.
Right. And
feeding
another
into
whole universe.
Infinite.
Exactly, infinite. And I mean that's an interesting thought, because what one would think, if hypothetically you're able to enter into a black hole, is it possible that inside that black hole could be an alternate universe to what's outside of the black hole?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, when you get close to a black hole, time basically stops. But, like, what happens when you get inside of it? Nobody knows. So it's like time stops for anyone observing it. But what does that mean?
From the outside looking in, they see you freeze.
Yeah, you'll never be able to see what's inside of it without going into it. So what could be inside of it is always going to be a mystery. Because, like you said earlier, they do deteriorate through Hawking radiation, but it's such small amounts that black holes are always going to exist. It's going to take them hundreds of trillions of years to disappear. But you also have to think, with Hawking radiation, if everything's getting sucked into the black hole, like it has infinite mass, like light can't escape, what exactly is coming out? What particle is able to leave the black hole? And it could be something from an entirely different universe that we don't know about.
Right.
Then you also have to think, like, what is dark matter and dark energy? Are those other pieces of other universes
that escaped a black hole?
That we don't have any idea what it is. So we can't...
Right, we can detect it, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, we can't see where it's at or what it does. but we know that it interacts and does special things in the universe
Right. It's
that have no explanation.
Right. It's kind of like how we know that black holes exist without directly observing black holes. We know that they exist because we see the result of them existing. We see in deep space with telescope shots and whatnot, light bending around, a dark circle, and as it's moving across, things disappear that are
And
within
now that we've
circle.
got those X-ray photos of, we've got M81, or maybe it's M31, and then we also have an X-ray of the Milky Way's black hole. Like
Right.
we're able to see
The theoretical
this
center of the Milky Way is a black hole, right?
completely like black spot with matter just swirling around it. I mean, it all has to be going somewhere. But you also have to think, how do black holes get as big as they do?
They're different sizes.
I know. You have normal black holes that are just out and about, and then you've got the ones that are in the centers of galaxies. How do they get as big as they do with as much time as they've had? I mean, they have to be something more than just a collection of matter. They
Right.
have to be like a rip into like space itself. And that rip has to lead somewhere. You can't just like rip your pants and it not go anywhere. It goes
rip your
in
pants and not have stuff fall out of your pockets. Right?
Yeah, I mean it has to go somewhere. It's like, where does it go?
Well,
that's the multiverse.
You actually bring up an interesting point. The fact that there are different sized black holes, because black holes infinitely dense matter. So you would think, okay, well, infinite's infinite, so they should all be the same size.
They should be.
But it brings up the thought, and mathematically you can prove this, that there are different sizes of infinity. There are infinities that are bigger than other infinities. For example, if you just take whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all positive whole integers to infinity, that number is smaller than if you were to take all of the decimals between 0 and 1.
Yes.
Right? So,
but you could have an infinite number between 0 and 1 going all the way out to infinity.
Right,
it could just be an endless stream of nines all the way down. You would never reach
one. And that's exactly why that infinity is bigger, because you can do that. So just one tiny portion of the infinite numbers between 0 and 1 is just as large as from 1 to infinity.
Yeah.
So that's why you can have different sized black holes, because there are different sizes of infinity.
Yeah, there's different sized black holes, but what gets them as big as they do? Like, they have to be going somewhere? Beginning this from something?
Do they grow? Or do they remain the same size? Do they grow as they consume mass?
They grow in proportion to, like, the amount that they consume on, like, fractions of a scale. So, like, if it consumes a star the size of our sun, the size of the black hole doesn't go up.
It doesn't
one solar mass.
No, because it
goes up
more
fractions of that solar mass. Because most of the matter is still orbiting the outside of it.
Right, now it's
not a lot actually enters into the black hole. Most of it's still
kind of it goes
beyond
the singularity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think in order for even something the size of the sun to become a black hole, it's got to be like smushed down into like the size of a baseball or something like that.
Actually, let me look that up. I believe might be the size of, might be slightly bigger.
I think I don't remember if it was the Earth or the sun.
I think,
but somebody said like the tip of an eraser on a pencil. It's either the Earth or the sun. If it's squished down to that, I believe they're referring to the Earth.
Let me look it up. see, what if Earth was a black hole?
How small would Earth have to be to instantly turn into a black hole?
Let's see.
Lost me.
So it says that if Earth was got smushed down, all of it, the black hole it would create would only be 9 millimeters.
Which sounds like about the size of a pencil eraser.
Yes.
Then, huh?
Then you have to think how many, compared to the Earth's mass, how big is the sun?
Right.
And then you just scale that
I think it's
accordingly.
1,000? Or is it 1,000,000? 100,000. I think you could fit 100,000 Earths inside the sun.
So you can do
It's 300.
330,000 Earths into the sun. So 330,000 times 9 millimeters it's a really big fucking number.
Well, let's say it's 10 millimeters.
Let's say 10.
Okay, times 100,000.
So that would just times,
how do you get to
10,
1 meter? How do you
times
get to
10, you just add a zero to this. That'd be 3.3 million millimeters.
Which is
Millimeters to
3,300 meters, right?
let's just do it to inches.
3,300 meters.
3 point. Let's just do 3. It would be 129,921 inches.
Okay, how many miles is that? Can you get it into a more comprehensible number?
All right, so we'll do 129,000 inches.
Okay, that's what, 1,000? 12,000 feet? No.
It's
10,000 feet.
10,705 feet, or
Which is 2 miles.
yeah, 2 miles. 5,000.
So a 2 mile diameter. That's it? That's small. Compared to the size of the sun. A 2 mile diameter.
Yeah, the diameter would be from edge to edge. It would only be 2 miles if you squished the sun down.
And that's tiny.
According to our math, which is probably wrong. It's probably completely and utterly wrong. Because I honestly believe I read something and watched Neil deGrasse Tyson talk. It would probably be the size of a grapefruit. Which is way less.
Well,
small.
We gotta think. The sun.
No, that's what I was thinking. I'm wrong on that. That would be if you wanted to turn it into. You'd have to take the mass and squeeze it into that size. The black hole
would then create and then grow to a 2 mile radius. Yeah.
So that's what it is. The sun would have to be the size of a grapefruit at its current mass to collapse. So if you think about that.
No, yeah, that makes way more sense. You know how many erasers you could fit in a 2 mile radius? More than 300,000, I promise you.
Did we do our math wrong?
Oh, yeah, we screwed something up.
How long ago did we graduate high school? What, 7 years ago? Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's... Don't... Just disregard.
Disregard all of that math. That's so bad.
Just picture 330,000 erasers.
Yeah, if you can picture that, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And leave us a comment too. And what that looks like in your mind.
If you want
330,000 erasers. What is that? What does that look like in your mind? Like, how do you imagine that? Because
I can't imagine it as much as you think it is.
I can't tell you the last time I've used a pencil. Now that we've graduated high school, I don't think I've touched a pencil since. Everything I do is in pen.
Pen. Or digitally.
it's either done digitally or in pen, because so long you couldn't do anything in pen. They're like, oh, if you make a mistake, you have the option to erase it. And it's like, nah, I'm living from my mistakes now.
Right, yeah.
Everybody will know that I fucked up when I scribble it out. And even then, I don't even scribble a lot because I don't probably know it's wrong.
Did you just drop an F-bomb on our YouTube channel?
I've been dropping F-bombs for years. But guess
Are
what?
we bleeping that out? What are we doing with that? Because YouTube has...
Well, let's be honest. I was watching our first podcast the other day, and there were F-bombs in there that we completely missed. So we didn't edit those out, but YouTube, they did update their thing.
Alright, don't let your 6-year-olds watch our show.
This is a family-friendly podcast.
If your 6-year-old is watching Multiverse and, black holes and stuff, I would get them checked. And a mental hospital.
You've got a special child, and you should probably figure out what's going on with them.
I would hide your weapon.
They're on to great things if they're trying to figure out what the hell.
Or they'll be a serial killer. So, find out as soon as you can.
Yeah, make sure you don't have a little dumber.
Alright.
All right,
So
we're
back to Multiverse.
completely off topic.
Back to Multiverse.
Yeah, let me pull up the notes we've got here on it. I mean,
Let's talk about what might exist in these multiverses.
Yeah, we could talk about what exists. Like, if you think about it, everything you could possibly ever choose to do in the multiverse
exists.
Someone of yourselves would have done it.
Every tiny little minuscule decision, like me putting my thumb up right now.
Somebody could be flicking them off.
It could have been a middle finger.
Could have been a middle finger.
Right. I could not have a thumb in another multiverse.
You ever thought about, like, how the world would be different if you didn't step on a bug?
I have thought about that, yeah.
Like
the butterfly effect. One little thing can...
Like, let's just go with the... Squish all the roaches.
Right.
Okay, those...
Nobody likes roaches.
Nobody likes roaches. But let's take a grasshopper.
Okay.
They're scary as hell.
They are creepy.
They don't do anything wrong. No. They're just hip-hopping in through the grass.
That's when they start flying. I don't like that. A big one, them big yellow ones flying around. I guess those would be locusts. The only thing that's different between grasshoppers and locusts is just whether or not they're grouped up. Locusts are when grasshoppers are all grouped up together, and they all get, swarm mindset. Otherwise, they're literally just grasshoppers.
They're assholes.
Oh, yeah, I agree. But I thought that was an interesting fact. They're genetically exactly the same. But because of the environment they grow up in, they could act like they're a completely different species.
It still doesn't change the fact that they're terrible creatures that I don't understand their purpose of, besides hip-hop and flying at you when you don't want them to. I honestly don't know what a grasshopper does.
I think they eat
real.
I think they eat more annoying bugs. I think they eat roaches. Do they?
If anything eats a roach, then good.
Spiders. Love spiders.
Spiders are great. I don't like it when they crawl on me.
No.
Like, if there's a daddy long leg, in the house, I'll put it on a piece of paper and get it outside. Whereas some people will put it on their hand. I'm not touching that.
No. I would typically just leave it. If it's not some big, scary spider, I'll leave it alone. It can live in my house.
I mean, at what point do you start charging it rent?
Actually, I'd much rather have a lizard in my house. They will eat roaches, and those are more fun. Everyone likes lizards.
What about an iguana?
Well, same thing.
They change colors.
Yeah.
They're better than...
I found out that not everywhere do people just randomly have lizards in their house.
You telling me that's like a Florida thing?
In New York? Because, I know someone from New York, they said, is it true that you guys have, lizards literally just live in your house? I'm like, yeah, all the time. They're like, no way, that's so weird. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
one thing about Florida is when there's a cold snap, you gotta watch out for the falling iguanas.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Down in the Keys.
they'll fall out of trees.
They will. And they're, dude,
They'll knock your ass
seen-
out.
This is like just the size of their body before tail. They're huge in the Keys. Massive.
They're
Massive creatures.
they're monsters.
I think you're not allowed to hunt them, though. They're huge. Yeah, they look like dinosaurs.
How did we get off topic again?
We're talking about
We're
iguanas.
talking about iguanas.
Well,
We're supposed to be talking about the multiverse
well,
and like what would
and
happen.
another multiverse,
If
we
you-
wouldn't have gotten on that tangent.
You're right. You're right.
And in another multiverse, we would have solved world hunger in this topic.
I'm glad you think so highly of us.
Well, it would be a really, really. It's a far one. It's far away,
It's a far one, huh?
but yeah. I mean, the solution to world hunger is eat.
The fact that we have more food in the world than we do the amount of people that need to
consume
eat,
it. Yeah.
and it's a transportation problem.
It's just getting the food to the people. Yeah.
It's weird. It's kind of sad if you think about it.
Well, I mean, if we just do a little cloudy with a chance of meatballs,
Like, let's be honest. What's Jeff Bezos doing with all his money? Besides being an asshole flying to space?
who's Jeff Bezos?
Amazon dude.
Amazon guy.
Amazon guy.
Amazon guy. I get all the billionaires mixed up.
What's he doing with his money besides just being... He's not doing stuff like Bill Gates.
They got to be making more money than ever, too.
Bill Gates is a philanthropist. He's giving all his money away.
He's still alive.
Yes, Bill Gates is still alive.
Don't say yeah like it's obvious. Steve Jobs is long dead.
Steve Jobs had cancer.
Well, then Bill Gates. I don't know.
Wait, Bill Gates.
Even if it's still Bill Gates, what if it's a freaking clone?
That's Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that's Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
He's either a clone,
Failed attempt
Or
at making a clone.
he's a lizard, or a clone. He's something.
Yeah, well, it's like
He's not normal. Whatever he is.
it's like Jurassic Park. They couldn't just make a clone from the DNA. They had to use a frog to lay the egg. He hatched from a frog egg, and
Yeah, but if you think about it, we've come so far since Jurassic Park. Like, we have cloned sheep.
yes,
You're telling me that like we could totally like have a cloned person? What do you think they'd be like?
I don't.
Like, obviously the sheep is the exact copy of the sheep, but like they don't have. We can't like track their thoughts and whatnot. Figure out like if they
If they
think the
literally
same.
think the same. But isn't that an interesting thing? Because that loops back around to multiverse. That's like an internal multiverse. When you you make an exact copy of a person. Because then they're gonna make slightly different decisions. That's gonna lead them to completely different places.
You would hope your clone would make different decisions than you. Otherwise, both of you are just out there f***ing things up.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, that's like having a child. It's just a monster. It's just a little clone of yourself that finally develops its own personality. But
right.
for the,
But imagine they.
but for the
think
first
exactly
couple
the same.
years,
They
you gotta just
look
a monster.
exactly the same. They would do the exact same thing in every situation. But if you put them in just the tiniest different environments to begin with, they'll turn out to be completely different people, most likely.
They should be.
And that loops around, so you step on a bug, it could change everything.
Your clones
It slightly changes the
could
environment.
turn out to be Jeffrey Dahmer.
Right?
It could be a serial killer.
Right.
It could be Hannibal Lecter.
Could be frickin' Neil Armstrong.
Could be Mark Zuckerberg. A bad attempt at a clone. Or a lizard.
Right?
He's something.
Could be a professional bowler. I'd be so disappointed.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone can bowl.
You don't necessarily need to be good at bowling to have a good time. But you can totally throw gutter balls the entire game and have the greatest time of your life.
You know what?
You don't have to be good at it.
If you're a viewer and you've made it this far into the podcast, video, vlog, whatever this may be, go ahead, go to the comments and put your best bowling score to prove the point that your average person can certainly bowl.
Yeah, you don't have to have a good score.
No.
Like, I worked at a bowling alley for a little while and was on my own league, per se. And I got absolutely wasted and just had a grand old time. I probably never bowled over 100 the entire time I did it.
Right,
but
I would think just bowling 100, that's a third of a professional. The best professional ever.
That's only that's because there's a maximum number of points.
Right.
But you still have to think. There's 10 frames. You have to hit what?
12 strikes?
Yeah.
For 300?
Yeah, 12 strikes. You get a 300? I mean, that sounds fancy and all, but
doesn't sound that hard to me. If you do it all the time?
Yeah, if you're a professional bowler and you're not getting 12 strikes every single game,
right?
You suck.
You can miss 1 out of 100, but other than that, I don't see you as a professional. If you like consistently don't hit 300 and like you rarely ever hit 300, you shouldn't be that should not be a professional sport.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a professional bowler, you should probably have an average of like 290.
Oh yeah.
Let's say over the course of the entire game, you miss a couple pins. You average a 290. That's professional.
Right, you get
300's the max. Cool. You should be trying to hit 300 every single time, and probably never go below 290.
Right. Yeah, I think I looked it up once before. The average, the professional average bowling score is like, it's only like 270 or something like that. I forgot, but it wasn't that impressive.
Let's look up the average bowling score just in general.
You know, it's different for men and women.
Average bowling score for a man. $130 to $150.
130 to 150.
And for a woman,
$4.
It's actually the same, believe it or not. But I like these Google searches here. Is a 77 a good bowling score?
No.
Yes, it is. If you're drunk, 77's great. I'm honestly surprised you even got it in your lane. Because I can tell you on more than one occasion I've been bowling in the other lane.
No, that's interesting. So the average.
Yes, the average
150.
Yeah,
that's the upper end of the average is 150.
You're getting half the score of a professional on it. Right?
You're a semi-pro, by definition.
It says the beginner score is between 50 and 70. I mean, honestly, that's...
Yeah, but you gotta start somewhere. You got toddlers that could probably hit 100 using the little ramp.
Is that bowling?
Yeah.
I feel like that's cheating. Because I could totally do that.
You know what they say. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, looks like we're about out of time here.
I'm glad to see we got off topic.
So, in another multiverse, we would have stayed on topic and gave you guys a really, really solid multiverse discussion.
I know. Hey, we'll try again on the next episode. God knows what it's going to be about, but like, subscribe, leave comments on your bowling score and whatnot, and
on the multiverse video.
See you in the next one.
See you guys.
Peace.